suspended. I think it's like.
Are we live? Of course I'm live. People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone's in good spirits. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on where else you guys are at. Now, obviously, it's the halfway point in the week. You know, it's Wednesday. Hope you're all moving that much closer to your goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations, doing what you can in terms of moving through hardship. Obviously, we can't do anything without health. So, you know, I'd love to wish you and your loved ones and nearest and dearest continued good health in all variations of it, mental, spiritual, physical, and all the rest of it. So yeah, please get your comments in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're supporting, and also you're doing that on YouTube, on Twitch as well as YouTube. So yeah, obviously Arteta has had some things to say about Arsene Wenger. Obviously, Arsene Wenger's thing premiered last night. Vlahovic is still linked with Arsenal. We all know it's not happening. We all know we're being used in that, but we're still being linked. SMITH-ROWE has spoken, and I think that's it, people. So yeah, on top of that, obviously, any talking points, questions, viewpoints, anything you guys got makes the world of difference. So yeah, we're off to 24 likes, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Also, let me know your feelings on Arsene Wenger and bringing him back, man. What role are we talking? To be fair, we're going to get onto it. He hasn't been specific, but yeah, man, big up everyone that's locked in, the members, the moderators, the subscribers, members. Again, check out the community tab, please. I don't know why there's so many dislikes, people. Again, I think I screenshot it every day. It's some bots, it's some haters. Either way, they're taking away from something great that we have. You know, as I always say, forgive me for my language, and any potential sponsors or Sky Sports or anyone out there that thinks about me potentially hitting the mainstream, forgive me. But, you know, in the old country, we have a saying, and anyone that dislikes, you know, and well, if you dislike fairly, fair play. But if you've got some malice towards hating on this channel, I don't want to pay you lot any mind. But from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of every clean-hearted person, suck your dirty mother through a straw, and go and do that to their grandma as well. In fact, suck your dad as well on that. But moving away from that, fuck the bots, hit the like button. Let's have a great chat. You know, it's always great. As I always say, it's a privilege to be sat here week in, week out, day in, day out with you guys, speaking football and the many other things. So again, it could be better, it could be worse. I could be like one of them nerds, but let's keep moving, man. Edu, Wenger needs to coach Edu again. What role are we talking? I don't know. But again, I wouldn't mind Wenger coming back. But at the same time, he strikes me as someone whose emotions are still incredibly raw where this football club is concerned. So if someone's got so much raw emotion, and for me anyways, the problem I had among the other things with Wenger, the biggest issue I had is what does it make sense? What was I going to say? I lost my trail of thought. The biggest issue I have is in the last few years in particular, Arsene Wenger, you know, we were too ingrained. We couldn't separate Arsenal and Arsene. And I think a lot of the decisions that he made were not necessarily of the benefit of this club, if I'm completely honest with you, especially the new contracts at the time for Olivier Giroud, Coquelin, and I'm pretty sure El Nene, beyond the obvious. So I'm not too sure, man. Some people disrespected him so much, as he deserves much better than what he did for this club. He was messed up by the board and took the blame. I agree, you know, 100% agree with you, broski. 100% agree. You know, the way he was kind of treated towards the end of his tenure was and is unacceptable for a great man. There's a difference between constructive criticism and people not thinking he's the guy for the job, and how he was hounded out like a dog. But in truth, they say you stay, you know, you're a hero and you stay long enough to be a villain. Personally, I think he died in a footballing point of view by the high standards he set for this football club. But at the same time, as much as I'm Wenger FC and I'm the president of it, we can't not sit here and lie. It was mutual interest. Some of the luxuries that Wenger got away with, he couldn't go and do that at the clubs that he tells us he was famously offered. So it was a convenience. We all know Wenger's biggest gift and curse was that he would never you wouldn't bring problems that your family's going through in-house. He won't let the public know. He would live and die by his sword and them things there. And when rightly and wrongly, players, owners, the board, they have kind of left him high and dry in that regards. But at the same time, you know, he liked being at Arsenal and he enjoyed the position. You know, it was a unique position that he earned, but also one that breeded complacency. For me, with Arsene Wenger, the time he could have stepped down in 2014 after winning a trophy after so many years. I think the one he should have stepped down is when he played. What year was it? We won the FA Cup. I think Holding. We played a back three. Holding, Monreal, and Mertesacker all played. I think he should have went out then. In it, he could have went out on a high. And as much as I love Arsene Wenger, you know, as I always say in life, I think the biggest lesson, one of the biggest lessons I've learned from Wenger, forget being a football man. I've learned a lot of life lessons considering I don't know the guy. Leave, quit before the game quits you, sort of thing. And I look at that in any sense. You know, if I was a manager, I'd never want to be that manager that's hung on too long. I don't want to be that player. If I was a footballer that could have in my prime could have went here, then the other where didn't, and then I'm at 35, I'm just getting a pat on the back and a handshake and a little testimonial, and they might give me a foundation job, but that's about it. And I'm thinking in the back of my head when my playing days are done is I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done the third. I admire Arsene Wenger for the high standards he set at this club, for taking not just the Premier League, but I mean Arsenal, not just Arsenal, but the Premier League to another level. You know, he walked so a lot of these guys can run. There's no Pep Guardiola, there's no Jurgen Klopp, there's no Jose Mourinho. None of these guys are in the Premier League until the big man Arsene Wenger came. And obviously Man United won the wars, but we won a lot of battles. He came here, he gave Ferguson some problems, he revolutionized the game. A lot of, you know, he's a hallmark of football. No matter what you say about this guy, he's a football. To call this man a legend, to say he's legendary, to say he's a hallmark of football, there's no words, there's no adjectives, there's nothing that can describe what Arsene Wenger has. I know I have nothing to do with it, but I genuinely think if Arsene Wenger was an Arsenal manager, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you lot, because him and some guy called Darren, you know, who I call the Black Arsene Wenger, ironically, / Black Pep Guardiola. They're two of the biggest reasons I see football the way I do, really and truly. And as I said, man, Wenger's a lovely guy, and he should be in and around the ground. For me, anyways, to sit here and say that the man hasn't seen an Arsenal game since he's called it a day here is upsetting. Ferguson's always at Man United. I'm sure he doesn't want to, based on what they're currently doing. You get the point. So that tells me that maybe the club or whoever hasn't extended an olive branch, but this tells me that Wenger is still in his feelings. He's still emotionally charged. So I don't know if your emotions are still raw, and you being the man you was, bigger than just a manager at this club. We all know with the Emirates and things, is that the right thing? You know, could you potentially overrule Arteta? Could you be a problem because you know more about football than Arteta, than Edu? You know, the board can't really talk to you about certain things. You know, you told the board don't give Ozil a new deal. They didn't want to listen for all the things you did wrong. That could be a problem, you know, and I think Wenger would get peed off very quickly. The board would get peed off. And I feel, as much as I want Wenger in and around the ground, people, and in and around, we need to be able to separate Arsene Wenger from Arsenal. As much as, you know, I say he is the, you know, he is a part of our history, but that's all it is. Respectfully, you can never forget history, because you don't know where you're going and you don't know where you've come. But respectfully, he's in history. We need to make a new era. We need to separate away from that. Ironically, we can't, because, you know, the stadium, the young players coming through, Haaland. Yeah, there's other people working, but these are all what I call the Arsene Wenger legacy. This is what he wanted. You know, players are coming. Obviously, Arteta's developed them, but players are coming through and playing for England way before he, you know, after he's called it a day. He's never coached Saka and Smith-Rowe, but this, you see the products that are being created, and obviously you've got Patino, Aziz, all these guys waiting in the wings. So yeah, he was disrespected, but again, you know, let's be honest, he relished the job. He knew certain things. But it is what it is. Through a McDonald's paper straw, one that Anitti's had as well, 100%, man. Is what it is. It all depends. Quit, you know, quit while you're ahead 100%. And again, let me know. Again, probably can't return as a manager. If there's some sort of, I would like him on the board, because obviously Wenger has shown not just to be a good manager or a good scout or have a good eye for talent. You know, he's a good forecaster. He's no finance man, but financially he's a good forecast man. And Arsenal have still spent recklessly. Maybe not so much this year, but we've still spent recklessly. He's a good forecaster, and in terms of football, where the game's gonna go. He spoke about free transfers and things, so that could be helpful. He's experienced, and as much as Arsene Wenger has a lot of things wrong, I've never had to question if he loves this club. But at the same time, that's very emotionally charged. And, you know, we've changed our project. I don't want to be ageist, but we do have, you know, a lot of people with you know, by God's grace, Wenger's here for many years, but you get the point. We've got people that are in their early 40s around them sort of times there. You know, I would love Wenger to go there, bro. Wenger's too emotionally charged to return, man. He deserves a statue 100%, 100%, you know, but he's a hallmark of football. I think I would like some ambassador role. I would like all of these sort of things, but you know, it is what it is where that's regarded, you know. Ultimately he died by the high standards he set for himself, really and truly. You know, I actually feel Giroud, Almunia, Senderos, as crap as them names there are, they were a lot loyal than better players. You know, a lot of players were disgrace. A lot of these newer age players are very disgraceful with how they've carried on. Patino hype has died down. It can never die down. And to be honest, that's a good thing. People leave him alone. He's got a little knock at the moment. You know, the man's 17, 18 years of age. It don't matter about hype. It's just about developing, becoming a good footballer, and the rest takes care of it. Simple as that. Everything else comes, man. We were selling our top players during Wenger's time to pay off for the Emirates, and we still got top four. I don't think some other managers would be able to. They wouldn't. You know, that's probably Wenger's biggest achievement. And I don't believe that because a man's one. I've seen you win league titles. I've seen you play some lovely football, develop some lovely players. And I'm be wary of the word competitive because Arsenal were anything but competitive when we was getting top four. The dynamics have gone from a top four to a top six. Liverpool have got their act, you know, started fixing up. So there's a lot of things that were different. It might be impossible, but that is his biggest feat, you know, the stadium. And by God's grace, things happen where that's regarded, man. Yeah, I mean, Diallo's not done fuck all for that hype, man. DG. Just what I needed was a DG stream to get me through a long day at work. Devon, I appreciate that. Again, without people like yourself and comments like yourself and everybody listening, there isn't, you know, any point doing that. Of course, Patino's not had a sniffy 17, 18 years of age, bro. Like he'll be there soon. Really, just let him develop. For me, anyways, I'm not gonna kill a player for not being involved in the first team. You gotta take time. You know, you look at a lot of young players, you know, again, United fans are probably still waffling about Martial. Diallo's a great player, but, you know, not had a sniff for all the hype he was getting. And I understand it, you know. He's got a lot to work on, but I would think someone with United and all them underperforming young players, you'd understand there's a time, especially when you've got a 70 million low ski, man. You know, exactly. And they're both doing fuck all near the first team. G1, you big up yourself. You're getting me early. But anyways, Wenger has a fantastic insight into football. He was the first to talk about the free agency movement. That's what's going on. But I see why it's so painful to come back to a failed relationship you put your all into. To be fair, you got to quit while you're ahead. You know, Wenger's biggest problem is that I feel is he loved football too much and he loved what he's doing at Arsenal too much. You can't step away. You look at Alex Ferguson, of course he loves United. Maybe not so much in the players he left them with, but he's got, you know, obviously Wenger has other interests, but you know, it was publicly known Ferguson was into horses and all of these sort of things. Whereas, you know, Wenger's football. Look, the man's called it a day, still working in football. So Alex Ferguson technically still is in football, but you get the point. That's his biggest gift and a curse. And when you're so emotionally charged, you don't know where to step away from the role. And you know, I think the board could have moved him on a long time ago. He could have stepped away. When you love something, you need to be able to make the right decision. You know, you might love a woman, or for some of you, you know, G1 or you know, some of the galley out there, or if that's what you want, don't cancel me. There's nothing wrong. But some of you might love an ex-man out there, or man, woman, whatever you look like in it. You might want them to stay, but this relationship might not be the best. And you being selfish and saying, I want you to stay, I don't want you to go, it's not going to help them blossom. And I think Wenger, obviously, the way our board is, if we got Pep, it wouldn't have probably worked. If we got Klopp, it probably wouldn't have worked. Of course, revolutionary managers done great things at the clubs they're at now, doing great things, going on to do even better things. But you look at the structure they came into. I don't when I look at it on a romantic sort of point, in that if Wenger stepped down, we could have grabbed Klopp or Pep. I think it would have been amazing. But look at the money Pep spent. Look at the just the seriousness City are approaching the thing with. I can't imagine us doing that, you know, and the same kind of with Klopp. But I do saying that I do think Wenger, if you in your heart, you could have stepped down, you could have stepped away them times and found the succession planning, and maybe it might not have worked. So I sound like a hypocrite, but maybe we might not have been in that situation where, again, respectfully, Arteta, you know, Willie won't he, is he good enough? You know, Emre and you know, whoever in the future, man. It is what it is in that regards, man. man talking to me about this Diallo, but bro, allow it, fam. First Smith-ROWE are doing more than Mr. Jaden Lowski, and they're significantly more experienced. Patting yourself, you're cheeky, G1. This guy just comes to troll every day, fam. You got me, man. Let's go, let's go. I need to get you on my channel, bro. Diallo's a baller. Wait, listen, G1's my guy. We're just running rants. No one think he's serious. It's like when she keeps here. It's all love and war. I have to start hyping players and gassing his players. I had to, bro. I had to. Exactly. It's not you, it's me. It's all these things there, man. I think Wenger would be great as a sort of supporting role at the club in terms of football, not getting the last say, but having insight. I mean, if there's some sort of consultancy role, I don't think it's probably, I don't think it would be the best if he was officially like 9 to 5 contracted. You have to be here. But if there's some sort of consultancy role, there's some sort of indirect, he can lean a hand on us and help us with foresight, with players, maybe with just asking Arteta, like same way Arteta asks is the young boys, have they improved? What's he doing right and wrongly? He should, he shouldn't be this removed from the club, considering you mentioned Arsenal, you mentioned Arsene Wenger, you couldn't get past that. And people that are probably 26 and younger at some point, all you've known is Wenger, and at some point you probably thought the club was bloody named after him. It's a match made in heaven, really and truly. So for someone that's been so physically ingrained with the club to not be here anymore, it is upsetting. There's no way around it, if I'm honest with you. But again, time waits for no one, man. Technical director or something like check at Chelsea. I hear it, but Wenger's very stubborn, and I don't know how much he's adaptable to new change. And again, I'd rather Wenger's opinion than a lot of them, but you can see how there's conflict and all those sort of things. But he could be someone to help. But again, it's for me, how emotionally charged is he? If you get him in and he sat there and he's in his feelings like, yo, I could have been doing this, how well could you do your job? Wenger needs to make, I don't know anything in it, but for me, before we could entertain any of this, I think Wenger needs to make peace with the fact that, it happened. It started how it started. It ended how it ended with Arsenal. My story is done. I'm either doing this new role thing or I'm doing this FIFA thing. Personally, I don't think it can happen because of the FIFA thing. He said Wenger loves his role at FIFA, trying to implement a 2-year World Cup. Can't wait to see him leaving that position. Had to check in on my college break. T-Bon, shout to you and the rest of the Jamaican tugs. Director of youth development and recruitment. Bro, I hear it, but you know how hands-on it is. Wenger, that's a lot of stress. It's not quite the stress of being a manager, but that's hands-on. You're there every day. Can Wenger emotionally put his feelings to the side to be at Arsenal every day? It's one of them ones there. Make sure we're hitting the like button, people. Bring up yourself, my guy Cruz. Appreciate the super chat. As much as I cherished his first 10 years of Arsenal, I can't get over the pain he caused between 2008 and 2018. I can't forgive him for that. Bit harsh. It's not all his fault, but I hear you. Love for the super chat regardless. Man, if anyone epitomizes professionalism and can do what it takes to help Arsenal, it's him. Why would you want a failed manager to return to the club? A big part of the reason we're in this mess is because of Wenger. Cannot forget his achievements, but you also have to remember his failures. I think anyone that's listening to me, I'm a big Wenger fan, but you've never heard me not say what he wants. But I think you're being a hypocrite, Rule, to then say you can remember his achievements. If he's achieved something, how can you be a failed manager? What did he fail at? He only towards the end, we weren't the guy, but what did he fail at? He really and truly, what did he fail at this club? There's debates to have about should Wenger have achieved more. In the same way, I think Alex Ferguson should have won more Champions Leagues. I think Wenger should have had a Champions League. I definitely think he should have more than 3 Premier League titles. But how can you say this man is a failure? You can't say he's a failure. 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 Do you know what a failure is? On a real, he needs to come through and watch games and just be around the club, pass through the ground and just talk to players, not a job. Listen, I would like him at the training ground around the young players and all of these sort of things, but I think man have to move away from him being hands-on. As much as I want Wenger there, as much as I want him there, we need to move away from it. Like I said, you look at United, similar situation. They need... Ironically, a lot of the value Sir Alex Ferguson installed in the club, and with United, I think they need it. But the same way, I think Man United need to move away from Sir Alex Ferguson. The first thing you hear the pundits and everyone says, Sir Alex Ferguson's Man United. It's not helpful to anyone in any situation, really and truly. If anything, I would like Wenger to find a trusted disciple, if anything, really. But I would like him to, if anything, I would like him to just be a voice. Just hang around the corridors, man. Just be someone that people can chat to. Just Like you see what I'm saying? But even his failures, bro. Wenger used to get killed for coming top four. Now, at the time, we should have been doing a lot more, but come on now. You know, we got to be a bit sensible with this thing. If I look at what Mikel Arteta has had to say as well, keep your opinions coming, people. Love in the comments. Make sure you're hitting the like button as well, people. You know, there's 163 of you locked in. Unfortunately, though, we still haven't got 100 likes, people. But yeah, first thing, wait, let's go to this one first. Mikel Arteta, I want Wenger to be more present at Arsenal. It would be a huge boost for the club. Yeah, it would be, but right now we're fifth in it. We're moving mad. I don't think anyone's saying Wenger back, but obviously if we're losing and we go through what happened last November and Wenger's in the stadium, and you can imagine Sky Sports pending and the event, you know, you can imagine the fallout which is said there. Oh, what's Wenger feeling like looking at it? You know, the man, and again, the emotion, man, think about giving 22 years of your life to something and being so ingrained. You need to think about how raw them emotions are. As long as Wenger can accept that his time is gone and that it might not necessarily be your Arsenal, then cool, come and do this thing. But again, emotional. Anyways, people, Arteta said, you know, I think he set a different tone at the club, and there are things that are still there. I would like to recover a lot of things that he did. I would like him to be more present at the club. I think the players would love him. They might love him too much or more than you. They will benefit. They will be inspired to have him around. And I think for the club, it would be a huge boost. I've always told him sometimes he said, I always told him sometimes you need your time. It was so intense for him for over 20 years, and you need to get away a little bit. But I think it would be so beneficial for all parties to have him present. And Wenger would obviously he'll start getting blamed again for stuff. Without being too critical of anyone, I think the club made a huge mistake, said David Dean. I mean, you introduced as great as you were, David D. You introduced the Kroenke, so I'm sure you and many other ex-board members, maybe even a couple current ones, if you could go back in time, I'm sure you'd all want to revisit history and change things. As the song goes, there's only one Arsene Wenger. True, they should have found a place for him within the organization, make him a chairman, make him whatever it is. It is, but again, they're scared. Well, I'm telling you, Edu can't breathe. The Kroenkes can't breathe, even though Wenger was cool with them. Arteta can't breathe if someone's like this. Someone that is of this level, it's going to make you uncomfortable. And I think that's what we need. And also, it might take away a bit from the manager. With respect to Arteta, I'd give Arteta my respect as a player. But, you know, if he's given a coaching session and Wenger comes to chat to us, I can't lie. After Wenger's chatted to us, I'm not necessarily going to listen to what Donny's talking about. Man, can't go from Wenger to Arteta. Respectfully, Arteta, because I think you are fairly charismatic, but Arsene Wenger, and this is the thing. And again, is it necessarily right? Not just for Arteta, but just say it didn't work for Arteta, and a new manager comes in and he does. You know, obviously you're gonna be compared to Arsene Wenger. He's the best manager, arguably, in a lot of people's lifetimes. You know, I'm sure Herbert Chapman and a lot of people throw their names into the ring, but you're gonna always be linked to him, especially when he's breathing down your neck and you look over your shoulder and he's hearing this. It's direct. You're always gonna be thingy compared to him. Sorry, people, before it gets cold. So yeah, you get the point. I think what rackles is the fact that personally, and I'll say this openly, that whoever made the decision didn't think he was good enough for Arsenal, but yet he's good enough to be the head of global football development for the world. Frankly, I don't understand it. I think a lot of people don't get it either. But it is what it is. I don't understand it. He went on to say, if it was not for him, I would not be in the position I am today. I wouldn't have enjoyed the career I had. So I was about playing some forward football then. He was very good at being able to transmit, Arteta in this word, transmit, what a football club meant into the players. And he put different question marks on me. That's why I started to study and take coaching more seriously. All right, cool. Let's see if we've missed anything with the Sky Sports report, people. You know. He said 100%. I was still young and I had my ideas, but he was a different level of inspiration on how I looked at the game. Fair play. I want to see if I miss anything else. You know, he said that it's been all right. And Wenger's actually not turned down management. You know, national team is for you. Hopefully, Deschamps calls it a day and you get your chance to manage France, man, really and truly. He said, I'm crazy enough to be crazy and to make a crazy decision. But you are really. But I am determined at the moment not to do it. Maybe a national team at some stage. But at the moment, I'm involved in projects with FIFA and I want to go to the end. And that's for me more useful now. And it's probably, you know what? Yeah, enjoy your life, man. You know, as much as, you know, we work to live and live to work. And when you're I'm pretty sure Arsene Wenger might disagree because managerial stuff can be stressful. But when you're in a job that you love, 22 years, arguably you haven't worked. But for me, Wenger, 71, you go do your little FIFA thing, man. You don't need to be as much as I want you at Arsenal. You look younger, you look stress free, and at that age, man, go and do your thing, man. Go and do your thing, Arsene Wenger, man. Just give him a consultancy role, give him a sort of 0 hours contracting, let him be around the club, let him hang around the corridors, let him in particular do a thing for the young players. Let him maybe have a seat on the board in some sort of advisory role, but it has to be balanced. It really has to be balanced, or it can go wrong, in my humble opinion. Keep the opinions coming. Arteta wants Arsene Wenger return to Arsenal again. I'm always thinking about you lot, you know. Shout out to everyone who watches it on the reruns as well. I'm always thinking about you guys and whatnot. Actually, I haven't got the charger in. I need to make sure the wire works. I can't lie, I don't know why, people, but on my Mac, one of the ports isn't working. And for those of you who don't know, I've got one port for the Ethernet, one port for the HDMI wire, so I can use this screen, and one obviously as an adapter for this. So if and I actually bought a wire. It came on Amazon. I cannot find it. We've got a temperamental charger. I think I'm on 68. So just bear that in mind, people. We're gonna have to probably do a switcheroonie, but it is what it is, man. So that's that in relation to that. The man gave up his personal relationships and accomplishments to be a steward at this club during its darkest days. Kevin, I agree with it, but at the same time, no one put a gun to his head. He did that because he wanted to do that. Like, he loved what he's doing. And yeah, you know, when you love something, it does cost you. You know, he's probably not that he hasn't been the best of dad, but he's spoken of, I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to have more children. I wanted to be a better husband. You know, obviously, you know, I'm sure he's divorced as well. So it takes a lot out of you, like anything. You know, he wanted to probably just try other things. And as much as I feel I'm a bit like Arsene Wenger in the sense of I just have one love of football and all those things, but you need to be able to, for your own sanity in the long run, you need to be able to switch off and turn away and whatnot. If he's a failure, what is my life, bro? People that have achieved fuck all in their life will call other people failures, you know. Like, come on now. Man sitting there with his dick in his hand talking about failure. Come on now. As long as you get up every day to try and better your life, you can never be a failure in this world, you know. I don't think Wenger, I think you meant Wenger coming back to Arsenal is what solves the problem. From my opinion, he's the mastermind in the game. It's going to be tough for other teams to win Arteta. I'm not sure if that's I don't know if I agree, but I hear that, man. Arsenal is Wenger and Wenger is Arsenal. No, Jack, we're not. We was here before Arsene Wenger. We're going to be here. You know, we was here before. Sorry, we'll be here after. He's a big hallmark. It's hard to separate the two, but this is the problem. No man, no matter how much they've trailblazed and eclipsed, this club is bigger than the football club. You know, and again, that's the problem, really. That's probably why Arsene Wenger shouldn't come back. That's the whole I'm alluding to. If we can't separate Wenger from Arsenal and Arsenal from Wenger, we need to move away from that. I know I want Arsene Wenger's identity. I want the young players. I want attractive football. I'm not saying move away from that, but you get the point. Overmars should be the only one coming back. Nah, I don't know, man. I agree with one of the comments. I think he should be in and around the club. Nothing too tough. He's been to Liverpool's training ground more recently than he's been to the Emirates or London. Coley. Wenger maybe director role. Wenger will be a great personnel on the board and maybe some mentorship. I think Wenger would be good for Mikel as a mentor if he wants it. You know, he said he wants him back around. He didn't necessarily say I want a mentor though. I would love to see Mr. Wenger back at some capacity, even as a mentor for Arteta. He came and did it. I think Arteta has started with the unknown, and for that reason, I think he'll make it at Arsenal. I don't know if I'm biased, but you can see Wenger's intellect in the players he's produced. / the majority seem to be better pundits and coaches than the players under Fergie. Did he leave the club in the mess? You know, did he? Because he left them with quite young playing squad. You know, he left them in quite rich finances. You know, I don't think he did. I think Wenger can be blamed for a lot. Some of his recruitment's been shaky, but I don't think the club was left in bad health. Of course, he didn't leave us with exactly people that can win a league title, but bad health, no. Since he's left, something that plagued him, in which we're making bad processes. As much as we scream and shout about no money and all and the rest of it, there's been money. You know, when we've spent big money, it's not that the players at best haven't been bad. It's just they've divided so much opinion. Like, how many signings could you say, big or small, in fact, how many Emirates signings could you say have banged? You know, I would say no one can say Santi weren't a good player. Off the top of my head, no one can say Monreal weren't good, you know. No one can chat shit about Alexis Sanchez. No one can say anything about Aubameyang. For me, I think if you watch football, you can see Ozil's a baller, but that one there, people might say, DG, you're being a bit biased. That one there can't fly, which again is a brazy one. That one there, my point being, not too many. You know, I don't think Lacazette's been a bad player for this football club, but if we're real, 52 odd mil. Granit Xhaka, one that he brought in. Well, go on for that. Pepe, what's going on there? Mustafi, what was going on there? Another thing, Wenger didn't want Mustafi. There's a lot of things Wenger can be killed for, but there were certain things he was, you know, the stat DNA using that towards when we bought Lucas Perez, he weren't on it. Like, Lucas Perez is not his signing, or was not his signing. Any coincidence, the man's not playing. You know, how many Emirates signings have banged, especially since the man's left? And that's why I think it's probably best Arsene Wenger doesn't come back, because as long as you come back, you're going to be praised or blamed for anything that happens at this club. And like I said, non-advisory role, things like that. But I don't know for how hands-on I would allow him to be. Not that I can allow anyone, man. Wenger should be an external advisor, like an external auditor. Give him a review of what's happening in a footballing sense every few months, and gives his opinion on it. Kind of like what Tim Lewis is doing. Then, to me, this smells like desperation from Arteta. A bit harsh, because I think, you know, Arteta, to be fair to you, he's made a big song and dance about changing the culture around the club, getting the fans on the same page, and all them things. So I understand why why he'd want Arsene Wenger back. And you speak on the values he's been trying to install at London Coley, and there's a picture of Wenger, and there's all this camaraderie stuff. I understand it, you know, because, you know, Wenger's one of them. You know, if you hear Roll Castle RIP speak, if you could, Wenger speak about this club, there's a couple players or ex-players or ex-personnel. You know, if you was a player, you know, you're going to get goosebumps. The hairs on your neck, paws are going to stand up if they talk about this club. And I think, for me, one thing I do believe, I don't believe in bringing back any ex-player or any ex-legend for the sake of it, but I genuinely believe there's not too many people that signify what Arsenal is about. Like even Edu, respectfully, he's an invincible. But who is think? And again, no disrespect to Edu, who is thinking? Does it? You know, I think of Edu invincible, but no one's gonna. People that weren't watching, they're not necessarily gonna attribute that. I'm not saying bringing Tony Adams back for the sake of it is the right thing, but you know who, you don't have to, what you didn't, it doesn't matter if you're 12 years of age right now or 72 or whatever. You know Tony Adams, you know what he's about, you know what Henri's about, you know what X and Y Z are about. You know, again, no one really reflects Arsenal. The owners don't reflect Arsenal. The players are starting to fight and that. You look at Arteta, do you really, at least he was Arsenal, an ex-Arsenal man, but do you think Arsenal? I don't necessarily. I see Everton in my eyes. Edu, again, I don't necessarily think Arsenal. Again, it's not just about names and stuff, and I'm not saying just bring back someone just to stand there all day and say, oh, you're Henry, you're Tony Adams, you're Wenger, but you get the point. I don't think there's anything that reflects it, because for me, it's when them young players are walking through London Coley, when the new players come in, you know, and he thinks, let's go back to Guendouzi, for example. If Guendouzi walks through the London Coley corridors and he's moving very mad out here, which he has been doing, and he bumps into Wenger might be able to chat to him and say, listen, pattern up. Or he see Henri, pattern up. Or Tony Adams might grab him by his neck or by his curly hair, take him into the change rooms and quickly and pattern him up. And that might be what he needs, a little flick to the ear. These are the sort of things. But when you're just doing what you're allowed to do and the club ain't where it is, who can you look at and think, oh, okay, is what it is, you know? That's it for me. Listen, brother, stop spamming, my guy. To be honest, I think Wenger's years got ruined by the board and Kroenke's takeover, which took them 7 years, and I'm sure some BS was going on if you think the signings. There was a lot of things Wenger was doing wrong. There was money he needed to spend and do a lot of things, and he was stubborn in a lot of ways. I never had to doubt if he loved the club. I do have to doubt about other people, but again, loving's not enough, man. Man will be laying in their beds with Dorito crumbs on their chest, calling legendary managers failures. Trust me. And there figures, DG, if you slow down too much, that could also be bad for your health. Exactly. And that's the thing. You don't want to be bored. You're forgetting for 20 odd years, this man's life has been, Monday to Friday. There's this training, there's that training, press conference, this, that, and the third. To You can't just go back to sitting in your yard. That's why you see a lot of old people when they retire, they're still doing a lot. Because some people they want to work. You can't just sit down. And Wenger's one of them. Like, I'm pretty sure he must be still struggling, or he must have struggled initially with the transition to obviously becoming the FIFA thing he is. Because again, you look at it, how hands-on is it really and truly? I know he's trying to get the biannual World Cup and all these sort of things, but it's not really hands-on. It must have been a culture shock / shock to the system at some point, to be fair with you. Keep smashing the like buttons if you haven't already. Brother, I don't know what that is, man. I'm not saying hi to nothing that I can't understand by, bro. Chamak was dead for you. Trust, the deadest of Lems. Big up DG. We'd love to see him back in some form like Sir Alex Ferguson at United. Just clocked in. Haven't heard the info, but maybe he's trying to revitalize, but I'm actually, I can't read, the poor Arsenal used to have by combining the current culture with the old one. For me, just the fact that he doesn't even come true randomly now and again, like he doesn't need to do anything at Arsenal. But yeah, I would love to see him occasionally at a match, and it would have been lovely to see him at the North London derby here and there. Like I said, we need to move away from him. Vinay reflects Arsenal purpose perfectly. Greatest CEO in the world. If you can't see that, you don't know football. Don't know if that's sarcasm, but if it isn't, I'm just going to take your word for it, because again, I just stick to football. I don't know about boardrooms and all these things. I'm not like you, man. I'm not involved in any of these talks. I wouldn't bring Wenger back personally. Can visit, but not hands-on. Don't want the Sir Alex Ferguson influence. That's why United are in the mud. To be fair, he wants to keep Ollie. So imagine we're in a situation like that, man. Yo, DG, Saturday just gone. Ian Wright was at my local team, Banbury United, working for ITV. As my local team, Banbury United played Barrow in the FA Cup Saturday just gone. Shout out to you. Hopefully you got a picture with Mr. Wright. If not, that's an L still. But yeah, man, is what it is. I see a comment. It's a shame. I saw something about, is Wenger something? Is Wenger returning of any benefit to him at the end of the day? Of course, it would be a benefit to him, really, because he'd return to the club. I'm sure he'd get a decent role. If it's not of mutual benefit, then it does. If he's not getting any benefit, better yet, it doesn't make sense him returning, in my humble opinion. Hit the like button if you haven't done such already. Someone at the top has to call Wenger and apologize. Well, to be fair, Wenger could have walked away at any moment, which is. And we've got to remember, no one had a gun. As much as I feel sorry for Arsene Wenger, no one had a gun over his head demanding him to do several things differently, and the rest of it. People, imagine Wenger with peas. I'm not going to sit here and cap at a point. He did have peas. He didn't want to spend it. So, we can't remix history. I can't lie. We've got to be fair to Wenger, but we also need to remember this ain't a man without failures. Wenger's biggest problem is he didn't want to adapt. In my opinion, he's struggling to, a lot of the things that a lot of these managers are suffering by, really and truly. I just think, I'm not saying we should spend recklessly. Ironically, I think he would have avoided such, but it just felt like he was just moaning about a lot of things that were starting to become a modern part of football. And, you either adapt or survive, or you moan. And I'm tired of Arsenal moaning, really and truly. Like even the Watford game, yeah, it's a soft free kick, but 9 times out of 10, we're the victims and teams don't do it for us. I'd rather us do the masses now, really. We need to get our hands dirty. Our hands were far too clean in this thing, really and truly. Are you enjoying FM 22? Yeah, I am, I am a lot, man. Trust me, DG, we can't remix history. He's also accountable too, but it's calm still. I'll go exactly that, bro. There's many things. Let's be honest. You weren't no gun to your head. You have to work at the Emirates and pay off the thing. You wanted to do that, because of your love for Arsenal, because you wanted to do it, because it's a good achievement. But at the same time, Carl, you weren't, you knew all these other clubs that he tells us I could have went to, bro. It wouldn't have lasted long if you tried to carry on with what you did at Arsenal. Like he said, he's still the GOAT, man. So it's that's where I'm at with that, really and truly, people. That's the Arsene Wenger segment. Obviously, keep your opinions and whatnot forthcoming, folks. We're not stopping with that, but I think we've offered all our thoughts in relation to all. with the assist of you lot, I've offered all my thoughts. As I said, we've been linked with Vlahovic, people, but again, it's probably worse. But just to humor you lot, pardon me. Let me actually, for what it's worth. Oh, it's not even let me share it. For what it's worth, first thing, apparently, just before we read it, apparently lots of talk about Vlahovic and Arsenal. My understanding, this is Charles Watts, of the situation is that there's been no negotiations. He's not a target. Clearly, we know signing a striker is going to be of priority to Arsenal because of Lacazette, because of Bamman will have a year left after that, because Balogun probably is going to go out on loan and he might not be ready by then, because Eddie's moving on, and because we tried to sign a striker last season. But that's that. What one's this? That's Emil Smith-Rowe, which we'll get onto in a second, people. There was a couple of other people kind of playing, we're gonna get into that, playing down the Vlahovic rumours. Apparently we haven't made a bid, but there's also offers that we're refusing to take phone calls. And I can't believe paying 68 million for the striker in January, where we're going to lose strikers to AFCON, but we're going to be without midfielders. But to humor you guys, don't shoot the messenger. Arsenal are finding it impossible to negotiate 68 million move for Fiorentina striker Dusan Vlahovic. I mean, offered Torreira, because the players' agents are refusing to answer calls from the Gunners. Again, it just feels like we're making paper talk. And again, it does feel like their client's angling for a move. He's got a year left come summer on his deal. Arsenal's attempts to land highly rated Fiorentina Dusan Vlahovic have reportedly hit a bizarre stumbling block due to the player's agents refusing to hold talks. And I mean, it doesn't matter how good the player is, if stop, have some self-respect. Stop calling them if that was the truth, people. Talks have reportedly progressed well with the Italian side. Apparently, we all know the report said we agreed a fee with Fiorentina, but personal terms, and obviously talking to his agent, another ball game. Any hopes of a deal moving forward have come to a sudden halt, with the players' representatives reportedly not answering phone calls from Arsenal. And Fabrizio Romano has said this is a myth as well. This is all lies. But, Di Marzio, speaking via Sky Sport Italia, has reported the Gunners want to talk to Vlahovic to explain their project, but his agents are refusing to answer calls, making it impossible to enter into negotiations. I mean, I know there's data protection and that, but all it takes is a WhatsApp message to Torreira, like, yo, give me this man's number. No, I ain't got it, brother. Give me his number, give me his Snapchat, make something happen, innit? Simple as that. We all know they're trying to sell Donny. We know Fiorentina, it looks like they've been trying to drum up a bidding war from English clubs, whether that's to tempt Juventus to finally go and get their man who also need a striker, or that's to get someone done. Very much doubt that they're going to let him go in January. Obviously, money talks. You're presented with an offer you can't refuse. You can't refuse it, in it. It's as simple as that. But at the same time, they're going through their season, whatever Florentine is doing. They're going to need to find a striker. Everyone in January is going to know you need that. Hit the like button, people. So it's going to put them at a disadvantage and might not be the wisest thing to do, people. I watched this game and I spoke about Spazia at the end of October where he bagged the hat trick. He's a good player. He got 20 plus goals last season. He's picked up where he's left off. He's a good player. He's very cerebral. He definitely looks older than 21, but maneuvers very mature. But if you don't want to sign or whatever, bro, move on. As great as he is, I think he's going to have a great future. I think Bayern Munich should be looking at him. They need a striker. Lewandowski's not going to be there forever, but yeah, man, bro, this guy's not Mbappe, Neymar, and that, and all them guys. But don't whore yourself out. If the man don't want to sign it, don't want to sign. Away from that, though, Arsenal and Manchester United target Frank Kessie, because who I signed the football manager, moves closer to AC Milan exit after snubbing fresh contract offer and demanding 7.7 to stay at the Italian club. They've reportedly offered him 5.5 a year salary, but he wants 9 million euros, 24 years of age. You can understand why you might want to go to the Premier League or why you might want to sign for PSG, Barca. Man United have the history. We have a bit of history, and we also have the legacy as the United, but currently, is it the best project to sign for? Probably not, beyond the attraction of the Premier League. Barcelona, probably not, but you can't really turn down Barca. If you're linked with PSG, can't turn down the P's there. But yeah, man. Oh shit, what happened there? Sorry, folks. So yeah, scrolling all the way down. He's free to obviously agree a move in January. And yeah, man, apparently, Spurs' managing director has reportedly met with his agent back in the summer over a potential move. So yeah, man, it looks like Frank Kessie is gonna leave. So they might be forced to have to let him go in January, which I don't think they're gonna do. I think, as we know with what Arsene Wenger said, free transfers are gonna become a thing, and it's something that all clubs are gonna have to deal with. To Arsenal latest. That's United for Kessie. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I mean, it's realistic in that it's attainable, but he doesn't want to sign, so that probably renders it that as well. Good morning. Make sure you're hitting the like button if you haven't already. Tell him again. See, I appreciate that. You can say, don't shoot the messenger till you're blue in the face. Some minutes still going to take it out of context. Listen, if they want to shoot the messenger, let them in it. But they're just getting angry at me isn't going to help in it. I didn't make the article. I don't know what's going on in transfers, but I understand it in it. If you're looking for someone just to shout your anger out, then I get it in it. Just make sure you hit the like button, man. DG, off topic, but what do you think we need in the summer to move forward? A striker, a striker that can do the hold up play thing like Lacazette, but to the point where he actually scores a respectable amount of goals so that we don't overcompensate and make excuses. Scores goals and does what Lacazette does. I think you need two number eights. I think you need a right back if Maitland-Niles ain't going to do that. Someone that can compete with Tomiyasu, someone that strengths are more going forward. Probably need a backup keeper. Leno looks like he doesn't want to be here beyond this season. So yeah, and if you can, this isn't really a position thing. I don't think we have players that have the X factor like that consistently. I think you look at, I'm not saying we can sign it, but you look at, we don't really have a talisman. Aubameyang was that. Saka and Smith-Rowe have done that, but they're not exactly talisman. You look at United, fair enough, they're shit right now, but they've still got Cristiano Ronaldo. Mo Salah is obviously at Liverpool. City got a bag of them. Chelsea, to be fair, Chelsea, I wouldn't say actually have a talisman as well, but their thing is a bit different to ours, obviously. So it's one of them ones, man. Barca can't afford his wages. Kessie, Partey, Lokonga. I mean, I would love it, but too many similar players for me, man. He's not enough expansive players. I'm not saying Kessie, Partey, Lokonga can't pass the ball forward, but I think Arsenal fans blur the lines a lot. That's not their primary job. In the same way we sign a number 8, you have to defend. I don't think we have enough progressive ball playing midfielders. And I think you kind of saw, not that Lokonga and Ainsley played poor against Watford because they didn't, but you saw the limitations that we're subjected to if it gets to that, in my opinion, which is crazy. Well, fuck Torreira, man. He don't want to be here, man. We'll take Jovic on loan with an option to buy in Jan Aouar and then just monitor Vlahovic to the end of the season. They're sick of us asking for players on tick. Well, we're on the Bright House payments, man. Arsene in any role for a side other than Arsenal or the French national team would make me sick to my stomach. I mean, not me, because it is what it is. Deluded, you live in Tottenham, bro, because on your story you drive past them. Edmonton, but yeah, I live closer to the Tottenham Stadium. I see that toilet seat all the time. Don't you worry about that. Are you really deluded? I mean, that's a question that I don't know, man. For every you're not so deluded, you live up to your name. I just wish I had £1 for every time it was said, because just trying to get paid both times, innit? Opinions are opinions for the birds. I really hear it, bro, but we can't miss out on deals like this. What Kessie? I would go for him, but I don't think we can get him. Signing on fee, give him all the P's, yeah, but yeah, man, I don't know beyond that. Been a fan since 1989. Wenger is a big part of our history. Bring the man back as an ambassador of our club. I mean, history is always, I hear you with the ambassador thing. History is always favorable. I don't know, man. Even if the money was there, Wenger would still try Moneyball thing. Boy, you're probably right. Can't hit 200 likes. People out here really trying to get your government name. Well, my government name's not a secret, but yeah, man. The fact that Mikel is trying to reinstall the values that were lost when Wenger left says a lot about the legacy Wenger left within his former players. He did, but to be fair to Arteta, off his own back, since the minute that man walked into the club, he did say, yo, listen, we've got to all be singing from this. That's one thing I'll give Arteta. He was very much on, we've got to have a siege mentality. Everyone's got to be together in this thing. I'll give him that. And obviously it plays upon Wenger's legacy and things like that. You saw the light of FM. To be fair, I was just on free transfers, man. I grabbed him, grabbed Belotti. Free transfer FC is me in that game, really and truly, man. Hit the like button if you haven't done such already. Big up to everybody that is tuned in currently. Again, it looks like we're going to have issues where this is concerned. So let's plug out that HDMI wire. Oh, that fucked it up. Let's try and get this charger in. It's a very temperamental one. Oh shit, we're good. So yeah, I can't. Again, it's gonna just be a bit awkward there when it comes to scrolling, but we can make it happen. Coming like PSG, trying to think, man. The thing is, Wenger gave up easily when we went 1-0 down, but Arteta is the opposite. And you ask me if I'm really deluded. I hear that though, man. I hear you. I really do, my guy. Fair play. What other Arsenal things have we got? That's Kessie, SMITH-ROWE. Obviously, his dad's a Spurs fan. I mean, I think we've all got random stuff like that, you know. Let me see what Emil SMITH-ROWE, the lad, has had to say. So yeah. Emil SMITH-ROWE says the secret to his rapid rise at Arsenal has been cutting out Nando's and chocolate after his poor diet gave him cramp. And you're seeing, to be honest with you, I'm not a finance man, but you are seeing him lasting the distance on a football pitch now. And again, at 21 years of age, he's a young man, innit? It's about not just doing what you're doing on the football field, but doing other things. And for me, SMITH-ROWE's got a bit of what I would like. I don't want to say his name, but Pepe, in that you can see someone that, okay, cool, the pennies dropped for me. I have to apply myself in training. I have to do what I need to do, but I need to pattern up people. So yeah, man. He said, I didn't used to eat well, to be honest. You know, no need to say SMITH-ROWE still lives with his mum. Well, it is what it is. I'm sure the girl, he will still date him. I used to get cramp after 60 minutes and stuff. We definitely used to see that. I wasn't eating great. I wasn't drinking that well before games. I wasn't really that hydrated, but I tried to focus so much on it. Chocolate. I like Nando's a lot. I mean, you know, cheat meal every Friday. Yeah, but I've tried to cut out chocolate and takeaways as much as I can. I'm always eating from home now. Arsenal have facilitated SMITH-ROWE's clean lifestyle where they can, providing him with his own personal chef as they will. He's got a couple of pasta dishes that's good. I didn't used to like fish, but now I'm into salmon and stuff. My mum usually I mean, I swear no one's making snapper in that household then. My mum normally cooks, but she doesn't have to cook anymore. Must be nice, man, doing. And again, you know, looking after your mum at a young age must be crazy, man. As you lot know, he's been on loan. He spoke about, you know, not getting into Chelsea. He said, I was playing for my local teams and one of my mates got called into Chelsea. He recalled his mum, funny enough, knew one of the scouts and said, one of my teammates was actually good. Have a look at him. That's an example of it's not who you know. It's not who you, it's not what you know, it's who you know. He said, I went in for about 3 or 4 weeks. But at the time, I was quite small, really skinny, and just kept getting pushed off the ball. Everyone was so physical. Another example of everybody develops at different rates. Because, you know, Saka he's strong, but, you know, at one point you speak to Arsenal coaches. At one point, Saka was one of the biggest lads. I don't know. Scary to imagine, isn't it? I wasn't getting involved and touching the ball enough. That's what it felt like at the time, why I didn't get in. But these things happen. I went to Arsenal. It was more about passing the ball and linking up with each other. They didn't seem to bother about my physicality. But as I've grown up, I've got really stronger, you know. And again, he must have learned a lot with Leipzig. I don't understand why he went on loan to Leipzig, because the man wasn't fit. And I'm sure he's learned a lot off the field that it's going to help him with football, with resilience and being injured and living in a foreign country and them things. But I didn't think it made sense, if I'm completely honest. And I don't think that was one of his best moves, you know. No coincidence, the man's fit. He had a better spot at Huddersfield. That set him up for what we saw last season and what we're seeing now. And it's been a fantastic 11, bordering on a year really next month since he came into the first team of that standard, people. Yeah, man. He said Leipzig, that was a frustrating period. I moved to Germany by myself as well. My family couldn't come. It was tough. I just working each day, not knowing what to do. It was tough, but I don't regret going there. So again, these things make you. I learned so much, a different environment, a different language, new players, new manager. It's definitely made me more of a man as well. Of course, Carl, mummy's not there to do stuff, you know, so keep doing what you're doing. He said Tottenham were interested in him. That's a myth. His dad can be a Spurs fan. Clearly, you know, either his mother or him have a better taste in football clubs. So keep doing your thing, SMITH-ROWE. It will happen for you. Keeping up with that, though. He said, before I was a bit too lazy. I didn't really listen. Exactly. One thing I've loved about Bukayo Saka, wherever his ability is, one thing that will make the difference as a player, and as you get older, it's not common sense, your ability to absorb information and retain it, and obviously act collectively. Because as you get older, it becomes less about how many kick-ups you can do, how many skills you can do, how many games you can win on yourself. As you get older, probably past 14, 15 now, if the manager gives you a tactic, whether you're on the bench or starting, and you're not doing it, there's issues there. Do you get it? I think this is the same thing he spoke about, people. Wait, what has he said here? He said Arsenal are strict, but I didn't really listen, to be honest. I think that's where it went wrong. Now I'm listening all the time, and maybe that's where he was getting these little injuries and all of these sort of things. I think this is the same thing, people. Apparently, Smith-Rowe grew up south of the river in Taunton Heath. So yeah, Croydon's Kevin De Bruyne, but he followed Arsenal because of what his older brother did, and he remembers being drawn in by Dennis Bergkamp, Omri, and other stars. I think you might be capping a little bit. Well, to be fair, you got older brother, but what, you're 21, I'm 26. I think you get probably 2 years below me, 3 years below me. The lies start coming out about I used to watch Henri and that. Like, we're getting a bit funny, you know. Really, it's like Shaqiri probably still in the comments, you know. Man's waffling about United. Imagine, man ain't even seen his team win a trophy, win a league. Imagine that. There's United fans that ain't grown up with that. But yeah, well, there's Arsenal fans as well. He said, have his nerves affected his development? He said, definitely. Well, sorry. He said, I'm always really nervous before the game. Not having that kind of pressure of everyone shouting had helped me a lot. He said, yeah, maybe. Just before I went on loan to RB Leipzig in January, I'm okay now. I'm just always really nervous before the game. It's mainly in the change room. That's when I'm most nervous. I've spoken to some players and they say the same as well. Maybe it helps. I mean, we all get a bit of nerves, man. So shout out to Smith-Rowe. What else is going on? I mean, we've already covered that, so we can remove ourselves from such people. With that being said, so it is what it is. You're my guy, man. It's love same way, but you had to catch that one. You had to catch a stray, man. You and G1, you caught me on a bad morning, man. I'm here for it today still. I'm here for it. But what minute is that? That's 47 to, let me go back because this is so annoying. I'm having to work with one laptop now. Well, one screen, sorry, because something's mad. Is what it is. That's 57. I had to, man. I had to. All's fair in love and war, man. All's fair in love and war, my guy. Hit the like button if you haven't. Yeah, we've not too much to talk about. As I told you, look, from an Arsenal perspective, we've covered Kessie, we've touched on Arsene Wenger. Keep the opinions coming if you've got any. One love to the 200 odd of you locked in. Make sure you're hitting those like buttons, people. Running them ones there up. And yeah, let's keep going, man. Let me get back, man. Smith-Rowe's rise is probably the craziest. He made start against in the beginning of the year against Chelsea. Now he's our number 10 and gets caught. Bro, it's been a fantastic 12 months. Just like Saka. It's not really the same, but at the time it felt like Saka had a really big 18 months, if that makes sense. Morning, Noah. Hope you're doing well and safe. And you know what? As much as I love Smith-Rowe and I love Saka and I don't care where in London they are, you know, I can't lie to you. We need actual North London guys coming from this academy. Like you got all the way from, where does North start? Seven Sisters Road. No, probably what? Just before you get to Hackney, you know, well, technically Stamford Hill and Manor House, just before you probably get to Central, wherever that is, I'd say from Seven Sisters Road to, I'll claim a Waltham Cross. We need some North London ones because what? Ainsley Maitland-Niles is an East one. I might be shameless and at a time claim Joe Willett because it's Walthamstow, it's not the Forest. Them man, they are not from, you know, Saka's from West. My man Smith-Rowe's from South, as is Nelson. Where's the North ones? Maybe we're just not that good still. Like, you know, there's something in the water. Shout out Mama Smith-Rowe. Get me? I know there's no yard food being cooked there. There's no fish. I know there's no yard food, but there's clearly no there's no snapper, there's no saltfish being made there. But all it up, Smith-Rowe, man. Don't watch that. Smith-Rowe is loading things and stuff. I wish I had £1 for every time DG says he wish he had £1. Then we'll be two rich guys. We'll put our money together and we'll buy Arsenal, my dude. Doing a mazza. Man said Arsenal's originally from South. True. I did call you out. Man said in reality you should be supporting Spurs. But you're from Rochdale, bro. Just because that's right next to Manchester, don't think you're safe. Why aren't you Rochdale fan, bro? Why didn't I see you with the Rochdale kit? Yeah, he probably is part Jamaican, but he's giving me them vibes, bro. Let me not talk too much, but you get me. You get me? He's giving me the soccer mom vibes, man. Them dad bust out. He's giving me them vibes there. Let me stop. Like, yeah, them ones there. So beef, man. I know yard, man. That. But anyways, it's calm, man. And Ketia went to my secondary school. Some would say North and West isn't as much of a struggle as East and South. Well, South is a South is a lost cause. Like West allow it, fam. Deluded, because you're in Edmonton, would you have supported us? Would you have supported Tottenham? I can't lie to you. It would have been if Arsenal wasn't a thing. It's a weird one because obviously in the 80s and 70s and those before me, a lot of my uncles and a lot of people obviously gravitated towards John Barnes. So obviously that's the Liverpool thing. So it could have been that. Can't lie, it could have very easily been Man United. There's actually a number of Spurs, man. It could have been a Spurs thing. Thank God. Thank God. Both South's a lost cause, man. You man call 60 seconds 66. Forget about it, man. Yeah, out of here, man. South is definitely a lost cause, man. Bro, run what city? South, you lot come like Americans. We're so amazing. South London, we're so amazing. Damson Idris, whatever his name is, Jaden Sancho. South London's the world. South London's the capital of London. Yay. Get over your fucking self, man. Get over yourself, bro. It's 60 seconds. It's not 66. Where's the extra 6 seconds? That's why Reece Nelson and Callum Hudson-Odoi are taking extra touches and the end product isn't patterned. I guarantee you, Saka knows this thing is 60 seconds. Myth. Get out of here, man. Bro, you don't run no city, man. You look just all you know is Ami and stuff. But that saying that, man, used to love Brixton Splash and them thing there. So I might give it to you, lot. Still, I might, but allow it, bro. Look at them. Oh, they think so. You get me? South just think everything is about them. It's tired, man. If it's the other, some of the South parts are irrelevant. You might as well be in another country, bro. Even Kevin, even I'm about to call him Kevin. Even Smith-Rowe size, bro. He's not even from London, man. That's our next country, man. Like he's from our next country, man. Big up Ian Wright as well, but tiresome, man. Tiresome, bro. Tired like South, man. Yeah, but you know what? My family Lewisham could get onto me, but it's the slums, it's shithole, man. Shit, I remember going there for Christmas. My cousin's yard, bro. It's dead, man. Everyone looked vexed. Like I said, 66 seconds. You don't need help, bro. No, it's not 66. It's not 60. Well, why don't you man call it 76 then, since you want to be stupid? You look like I'm not taking anything from. Listen, if you're from that part of South where you got trams and that, allow it, man. You man might as well be. I don't even know what sort of town, Sunderland or something. You man are not on my thing, but it is what it is. Someone said Tion Wayne or Russ. Russ is shit, man. Tion Wayne. In fact, that's how Rush ain't shit, but yeah, man. Them ones. Raw people. Off topic. A mad thing has happened, you know. Raw, what the fuck's going on in the women's game? PSG midfielder Aminata Diallo arrested in connection with attack on teammate Kiera Hamori. Investigators from whatever police department in France are investigating an attack on PSG player Kiera Hamori and have arrested her teammate. Apparently, two masked men dragged her out of a car and punched her and hit her legs. What the fuck is going on here, blood? Raw. At 10 p.m., I'm skipping ahead a bit, but at 10 p.m., two masked men approached the car, one of whom managed to prise open the passenger door and drag the former Barcelona player from the car. The men began to attack the player's legs with an iron bar before fleeing the scene. The player was then taken to hospital where she was treated for injuries to her hands and legs. She was therefore ruled out of the 4-0 game. And then, yeah, man. Fucking hell, blood. And then more information is coming out. Mazza. So long story short, it sounded like one teammate couldn't get in the first team and then couldn't get in the team and then had her teammate beaten up so she could take the spot. Fucking hell. Jealousy is a madness. Crazy. That's a mazza. Bro, way more than dark art. That's just fucking scummy, blood. Yeah, if it's not Brixton, I'm not taking say. I'm not Brixton. Got a love for the Bricks, but apart from that, it's a Mazda. Shout the Norm as well, but yeah, man. South's a third world, bro. I'm happy. This is North is a shithole as well, but you get me. I like my little shithole. Man said East is where it's at. Get a load of this guy. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, dog. Like, get out of here. You lot, bro, get out of here, man. Block off Hackney and Shoreditch and that. Well, you know when they trying to go Newham and all them shitholes there. Them sides there might as well just be thrown in with South, man. A man said Enfield is in London. Don't let. I'm not from Enfield, like, so it's nothing to do with me. But fuck Enfield. But even that, Enfield is definitely easier to get to than South. Certain places in South. Sounds like a typical day in South, you man. Tell Aubameyang to watch out, and Ketty will be doing the same thing soon. Ooh, bit harsh, bit harsh. Ilford's round the corner, to be fair. Right round the corner. Saliba has the best tackle success rate of any player to attempt 20 plus tackles in Liga. 82% tackle success, 22 tackles attempted, 18 tackles made, 2 fouls from a tackle attempt, times 2 dribbled pass. You see the dribbled pass thing, yeah? I find it worse, if I'm honest with you, because I remember when Van Dijk never had the dribbled pass stat, but I'm seeing man dribble past him. So not that he isn't playing good, but what quantifies it, man? And that's good for him, but yeah, man. Hackney, well, remember I used to go, well, parties in Hackney never used to end well. But then again, growing up, the parties where it's gonna sound so bad, but it's like the scary with the more problematic area it is, the more likely chance of a madness or a stabbing happening or a shootout, which has happened a lot of times, or a Mazza happening. I can't lie. The more time them ones there had the best parties and the best joints. And yeah, you might get chased, you might do a Mazza, madness might happen to you. The man, not everyone might not make it back, and all these things. But you had a good time, man. You had a good time. You'd have a good time. You'd have a good time. Do you rate Marquinhos? Yeah, I think he's quite slept on, if I'm honest with you. I think Marquinhos, apologies, is slept on. I don't want to say he's not rated, because man rate him, but when it comes to the best centre-back shouts, I don't really see his name. And he's therefore top 5 centre-halves. I would say for me, top 2. You know, I know Van Dijk's not currently there. If someone could throw up some other names, fair play. But I'd say Van Dijk, Marquinhos, maybe top 2 is exaggerating, but I don't see anyone you can chat to him off the top of my head. I would say therefore top 5, Marquinhos. Leadership quality is really underestimated as well. Maybe not getting the bread you're gonna get when you're in France, man. Did Arsene bottle it by missing out on Mbappe bare people, man? Is there anything DG hates more than South and Ross? I mean, I don't hate Ross and I don't hate South. It's just Bants. Man said Northwest. You man are in the bin. You man just get thrown under the Westing. Get out of here, bro. The best parties, man. The best parties. Well, when you see the JD bag come out, certain things get let off. Yeah, you screaming and that, man. Them crying and that. Bare things going down. It's lit, man. Is it? Oh, bro. Birmingham. I got cousins in Myth. That guy still wear boot cuts, man. That's a myth. Diaz is in the top 5 shouts as well. That's what I said off the top of my head. It's difficult to really think about it. The best galley as well. Oh my days. No, the ones there you do not care about what happened. Once you got a Lenting's number, I don't care, but you look, can shoot my shoulder off. I don't give a shit. Like, as long as it stays there, and this one answers a BBM pin, is calm. But yeah, we're going left. We're going left still. We're going left. Of course, I've been to Jamaica enough time. Miss it. It's the first place I'll go to if I had a chance, man. Love it, bro. Love it. Apart from that English water and all them thing there, but apart from that, it's calm. It's calm. It's calm. It's calm. Is there any other football news going on in the world of football? Let me have a quick butchers, people. Apparently, well, where do I start? Apparently, football, FIFA, the FA launches diversity code for non-elite football. Lol. Apparently, you know, which is a good look for Asian football as well. Zidane Iqbal, I believe his name is, and things like that. Obviously for British Asian footballers where there isn't too many, he's doing his thing. Apparently England could lose him because Iraq are keen to cap him at international level, so he's got a chance. He's got an opportunity to there, and he's got a choice to make. Apparently Steven Gerrard is open to a return to the Premier League and is on the shortlist for the Aston Villa role. Yeah, man. Apparently, Smith-Rowe has said he's speechless on being called up for England. People, he's described it as a dream come true, as it should be. I think this is the only Smith-Rowe propaganda I haven't read out. He said it's definitely a dream come true. I didn't expect it. Obviously, I was planning to go to 21s, and I got a phone call the day before from Gareth saying I've been called up to the first team. It was a great moment for me and my family. My mum was actually downstairs at the time. I was upstairs. I ran downstairs straight away and told her. It was very emotional, but they were so proud of me, and I couldn't wait to meet up with the squad. I was very nervous during my first training session, to be honest. It's always hard coming in with new players. Obviously, I play against these guys every week. I love that, man. One thing I like about Smith-Rowe is very humble, but you and Saka almost too humble, bro. I like that. I play against these men every week. I love it. And for me, let Grealish take you under his wing, my guy. Show him what a real low sock baller is, because on current form, you're the guy, but get your little tips and tricks. And he said, after a while, I got used to it, but I was definitely nervous. I'm sure throughout the week, I'll get into it and get more comfortable. Wearing the same training kit and passing the ball to each other is crazy to be alongside these great players. I'm a bit speechless, but I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. I don't think he'll get a cap. I think what will happen with him is he's going to be given a taste for it. Southgate, gets to indirectly see out, on top of him having good form, gets to run the rule over him in training, seeing what he's like up close, And for Smith-Rowe, it's a good reward for your hard work. Yeah, I don't want to say he didn't get called up on merit, but you didn't get called up. There's been people dropped out. But the very fact that you're in people's minds is a good look. So go and enjoy it. It's a good reward, For rightly or wrongly, sometimes he's really found a purple patch and stuff. But at the start of the season, he started a bit slow. So I'd say just park Arsenal off for a second as a young man, because you've been carrying this team. Go and play with different players, play for England, go and enjoy it. Go and, get a positive taste and know what can happen if you keep applying yourself, if you keep playing well. There's things that can happen for you, and there's other things. So, yeah, man. It is what it is, people. Scrolling all the way, as he's got 4 goals and 2 assists in 11 Premier League games. He said it's always difficult when everyone's talking about you and stuff, but it's good when it's in a positive way. I try not to look at it as much as I can. I try to stay focused as I can, but it's a good thing that I'm getting these positive comments about me. Smith-Rowe, you already know it. And no disrespect for Smith-Rowe, you seem like a bit of a softer touch. You seem like you're probably going to have to develop some thicker skin. I'm not going to say you haven't got thick skin, because you're a professional footballer playing for Arsenal Football Club, and it can't always be nice. There was a time people said Smith-Rowe was overrated, he wouldn't make it here, and all that fucking bullshit, pardon my language. And I told you, lot, this guy is cream rising to the top. It's going to happen, just like with Saka. They even said Saka weren't messed at a time. Look, random people saying this and it's not. There's that. So I'd say, obviously, good and bad comments shouldn't read them, and it's good to see where the public or other thoughts of you, but don't get too hung up on the positives, don't get too hung up on the negatives. You're never as bad as they say you are. To always improve, you're never as good as people say you are, because the same way everybody's breading you and saying you're this, that, and the other, they'll turn on you. You know how it gets. So just keep that in mind, and I would say just stop watching that. I'm not saying you should listen to Southgate's opinion, but what I would say is, your loved ones, your opinion of yourself is what matters in life most. So I'd say keep that in mind. Always look at things without bias. And I would say, what, regardless of what people are saying, Southgate, the England gaffer, has called you up. A million people could say, Smith-Rowe is shit. Arteta's the one playing you. So not that these opinions mean more than others, but quantify opinions, Sometimes I even do that with YouTube. Sometimes someone might say something, and I'm not taking it in because I know it's not from a good place, but someone might say some constructive criticism, and it might make sense. Equally, I can't just look at all the negatives. I can't just look at all the praise, because that leads to complacency and you thinking you're better than you are. But yeah, man, obviously, I don't think he plays against Albania. Hopefully, Ramsdale and him get opportunity. I hope he comes off the bench against San Marino, and I hope Ramsdale gets a start against them. He also said, it's unbelievable to be next to those names and a great moment, but the most important thing was getting the 3 points on Sunday. Yeah, man. When asked on where, if you told him 18 months ago where he would be, and he's replied to that. Obviously, he's got 12 goals in 58 appearances for Arsenal, which, again, You know, considering where he is, you have to sometimes keep your feet on the ground and just. That's why I'm not happy he's gone on with England, because I think when you're involved in a situation like Saka and Smith-Rowe, I think when you remove yourself from the immediate days at London Coley, stop and just think and be proud of yourselves. What you lot are doing, a long way to go. It's not happened yet, but just factor in just how far a man's come. Really, he said no chance. I probably would have laughed at you. Everything's happened so quickly. I tried to keep my head down as much as possible, keep working, and try to listen to everyone around me. It's surreal being here at the moment. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, and we'll see what happens. And I know many Arsenal fans listening won't care, but Ashley Cole has backed him up. And to be fair, Ashley Cole is one of my favorite players at Arsenal and is one of my favorite players in general. So when he's talking about you, it gas you. So long may it continue between Emil Smith-Rowe and Bukayo Saka, and hopefully not before too long we have a couple of others that are looking to get involved and all of these things. But it is well, it is where that's concerned. Where is my timestamps? What's going on here? Sorry, folks, I'm trying to find my bloody timestamps. What's going on? This is a L still. But yeah, Smith-Rowe and his diet changes. What's the time now? This is so hard on just one laptop. Sorry, folks. I'm just having to do a Mazda 115. Let's go on. Where is it? That cool. Now we can go back. This is so hard doing with one screen. I forgot how difficult this is. I was moving privilege. Facts. I was a Smith-Rowe skeptic at first, but he proved me wrong. You've been telling us from bro. There's nothing wrong with being skeptic. I mean, Smith-Rowe is clearly an introvert. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. He's an introvert. Saka's like that. These guys. I'm sure when they're around their friends, they're hella. You see their personality, but if you didn't know they were footballers, bro, they're not gonna tell you they're footballers, really. So, and I like that about him. But man, I feel believe in themselves a bit. But Smith-Rowe and Saka are always gonna get there. You could see it. Then I'm not gonna sit here and say I knew Smith-Rowe would do it in 18 months. I'm not gonna say I definitely knew Saka was gonna be a baller. Like, everyone could see it, but I didn't know he was gonna take to it to this level. Same with Mason Greenwood at United. I was watching. He's a player I like a lot. Jadon Sancho, the same. I was watching them at youth level to the point where you become a fan and you're like, raw. And it's like, for me, I like to watch them because you see the rise. And it's like, for me, with Jadon Sancho, he can be proud of himself regardless of what's going on right now. Because I remember him playing England's under 17s and people slating him for, how could you go to Dortmund? You're not playing. They're playing you with the youth. And look what he's doing. And you got to remember, at the end of the day, bro, you're winning. Just the fact that you're a professional footballer and you've come out from where you've come out, you're winning every day. No one could tell you nothing. Man said, Deluded, do a Tottenham accent, please. I don't know what a Tottenham accent is, my brother. But I hear that. So Pickford's gonna start. He had an okay Euros, but I just think that should be an open one, bro. There's no Tottenham accent, bro. There's no like, bro. There's no Tottenham accent, fam. There's no accent. Like, it's a London thing. There's no special, not Edmonton, Tottenham, South London, this and that. There's none of that, man. Well, Smith-Rowe's cold, man. It was just a timing thing. Let's have it right, though. Wenger and it. Allow me, man. Anyway, scrolling up. DJ, I've seen the Premier League power ranking. Smith-Rowe is second on the list. Is mad. I don't know what power ranking is, but fair play. Fair play to him. Bro, Smith-Rowe is a baller, man. It's just once when him and Saka, I'm waiting for them to kind of have a bit more of a swagger to it. Because right now you get the vibe that they're just still naive young men, can't believe, have to pinch themselves. I'm playing Premier League ball. The minute they say, all right, cool, I'm 30, I'm here, it's peak, in my opinion. What other things are going down where Arsenal is concerned? Slow day, man. I'm not even gonna read it, but they're just remixing the same old stories with the same old players. Good luck to big up them though, man. You have to be mad. You have to have mad discipline to do that. BG power ranking is based on players' current form, last 6 appearances. I mean, I hear that. That sounds good, but I don't read too much into that for me, anyways, man. To think that Willian had to be injured before Mikel could give him a chance, credit to Emil for taking the opportunity to convince Mikel when it... credit to Emil, basically. It's true. But again, that's one thing I didn't like about Arteta. It took him trying Lacazette there, Willian there, to give my man a chance to really depend on youth. Yeah, I agree. I need them to realize that this is their team. No, it's not even their team, bro. Man's a Premier League baller, fam. Like, no one can tell me nothing in a positive way. Bit of a swagger with it. I think the only difference between Smith-Rowe and a man like Grealish is that Grealish thinks he's the guy. Smith-Rowe will have that confidence one day, I believe. Obviously, Grealish is several classes above Smith-Rowe, but I get the point. That's it. You know, and the penny will drop at some point. I'm not going to lie. When our players start getting called up to England, I get scared because it's a bit like, obviously, they're rubbing shoulders with people that are challenging for titles and whatnot and Champions Leagues and things. And I know right now, Smith-Rowe and Saka say, I love Arsenal and this and that. It's easy to say that at 21. What are you going to say at 26 when, you know, if we're still doing the same old nonsense? And exactly, it's one of them ones. So it's an interesting one. DG, do you think Kroenke has better ambitions for the club? Now, I don't know what he's got, bro. What I know is it was a great time to do the interview because we're off the back of not losing any games. Obviously, the money we've spent in the summer, we're seeing it justified because we're doing all right within these 10 games. But I don't know. Time will tell. I don't know. He can talk, you know, it does feel a bit of misplaced stuff and whatnot. But yeah, man. Of course, I rate Patino, but calling him the next Cess, the next Wilshere, the biggest wonder kid in the world, it's not going to help him. And what I do know is his attitude is amazing. He's very humble. He will have his time. He's a good player. But again, you know, players, so even... I'm not going to lie, Patino's not one of them. He's a great player, but there are certain players I see journalists and all these youth experts talk in relation to Arsenal and put the name Wonder Kid. Now, I don't like the term Wonder Kid anyways, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's like, bro, they're not making it at Arsenal Football Club 100%. Like some players, I'm willing to bet a lot. I don't know. Football can humble things, but I'm willing to bet they won't. And this is the issue. Patino will get there. He's got a lot to work on, you know. He can't be the next Jack Wilshere, but he can be the first Charlie Patino. So let's just leave him to do his thing. Buzzing for Emil to have a chance. Once he's in the squad, he'll take his chance like Saka did. Do you know what? He did, because there was a second, if you remember, Saka elevated. Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Joe Willock, they were kind of in the same sort of bracket. And then Smith-Rowe elevated himself. You know, that's what you got to do. I like Omar Rekic, very good passer. You know, decent reader of the game. Don't know if he makes the grade at Arsenal, but do think he's going to go on and have a decent career. Too much hype, bro. You know, people will call a player the best thing ever since at 16, and then when it's not quite happened, like they're not a Champions League winner at 17. At 21, they'll call them finished. We've seen it all the time. Seen it all the time. And it will happen not just to these players, it will happen again and again and again and again, because this is the world we live in when it comes to football, unfortunately, man. Do you miss Willock? No. No. Good player, but no. No. I miss all the Halen boys, but nah, man. That's a myth, man. Good, interesting comment in relation to Josh, though. I don't know, man. I mean, where is that thread as well? I was going to read a thread to you lot as well. Pardon me. Sorry for that, people. Let's close that. Close that. Let's read this article, man. Read this shit, because you just mentioned Kroenke, right? So it would be good to just read this quickly, man. Rubbing him out at Hertha Berlin, man. Bro, he's told you that he's a decent squad player. I see the goal scoring potential and the element of losing him, but you know, we've come a long way from him playing the 10, then Smith-Rowe. And I said it then, it's like, bro, Smith-Rowe is an Arsenal 10, not Joe. Joe is all gear, no idea. And I mean that in the nicest way. It's no coincidence. Joe Willock looks better when the games are quite crazy. All the goals he scored, the games have been crazy. There's been mad space. In a low block, he will run in behind, but there's not really a brain there. Sometimes he's moving too fast. You know, I do think he's a good player and stuff like that. I don't want to write him off too quickly, but that little purple patch, it weren't sustainable. And one thing I liked about Arsenal, we kind of sold man at the right time. Obviously, in hindsight, he can do his thing, but yeah, man, I always find, well, you know, for me anyways, I do it as well. I always feel when you talk about a midfielder or a striker or anyone, a professional footballer, if one of the first things you say and one of the frequent things you say is, a man works hard, he runs about, he puts a shift in. Yeah, I rate that. I need that, but is there no disrespect, Joe, but is he good then? Not just Joe, but anyone. If a man works hard, it might not even be that they're not good. are we overcompensating then? You know, because I think I did that with Lacazette. He works hard because we're overcompensating. Joe Willock, he works. The minimum should be working hard. You should be able to have legs and run around and with the rest of it in midfield. But so it is what it is. Do you know what? Odegaard had his confidence. Last 3 or so games, he's kind of fallen off a bit. You know, there was it Brighton? I think them times there, him and Smith-Rowe, they weren't both really doing it. Smith-Rowe just done his thing. Odegaard kind of went away, but it's a long season. He'll get his time, man. You know, I think Odegaard critics are back now, generally. But yeah, man. I hope Amari Hutchison makes it. I hope he does. You know, another lad that's got a fantastic attitude. Joe is a solid number 8 in a 4-3-3. I like him, but boy, I'm happy Arteta didn't. I mean, he runs around like he can't dictate the tempo of a game. His passing is quite mediocre. Positioning, he falls off. Not actually that good defensively. You know, all gear, no idea. Don't know specifically what Joe Willock's strengths are. I wouldn't say I'm going to move heaven and earth at this current time to have him in a 4-3-3. In the future, he might very well develop, but at this moment in time, myth, I wouldn't say solid either. I don't think the football IQ's there either, man. That's me personally. When it comes to Joe Willock, like, it's a myth, man. Respectfully, where Joe's concerned. I have to give Arteta credit in terms of so far he's building on a team that we can connect with, and that's something he's spoken about. Odegaard is a baller. I'm still not sure about Odegaard. To be honest, for 30 million, we're all right, man. Do you think it's harsh for Sancho to be dropped for England after how consistent he has been for the last few years? Last few years might be a slight exaggeration, but no, reality is if you're not doing the job, I think he got the first call up. Obviously, on form, didn't deserve it, but that was just to keep his mindset. And then this one is, yo, all right, cool, we can't carry passengers. He'll be back. Without a doubt, Sancho will be back and he'll make a lot of people eat their words. But yeah, man, if you're not doing the business, you're not. You could turn around and say Grealish shouldn't be there. You could say a lot of them players shouldn't be there on current form, but what Sancho's got is United are playing terrible, and he's had a long, dragged out saga of a move where it's been happening. It's been like maybe 2 years now. That one there. Do you think Nkunku is the dream? Wouldn't say the dream. My dream would be Kareem Adeyemi and people like that, but solid player, and he's found he's found the real eye for goal. Arsenal needs to work on being clinical. Other from that, Arteta is okay for 11 games. Bro, Gareth Southgate don't fancy Bear, man. He didn't fancy Sancho. He didn't fancy Grealish. He didn't want to call up Jude straight away. And there's a couple of other examples. But at a period, these lot have played so well to the point where, like, listen, you can't not call him. He don't rate Bear, man. You know, he don't want to play all these creative man in the team. Like, he don't. The creative he gets is Mason Mount. With respect to Mason Mount, that's the only one. That's because Mason Mount's gonna run around. Did you hear Danny Mills' comments on Smith-Rowe getting a call up? Listen, Danny Mills, suck your mum. Fuck Danny Mills. You know, suck your mum, bold cunt. But pardon my language if you're bold. But he was always talking was about Arsenal. I don't give a shit what he said. Like, who cares about him, man? Do you think Loftus-Cheek deserves a call up? If he keeps doing what he's doing, I like Loftus-Cheek a lot. He just needs to stay fit because he gets injuries, and then he's one of them. Because you got a long injury now, you might have your hamstring might be gone, but he's come back now, and now his knee's gone, his toes hurt, his other hamstring's mashed up. The hamstring that just got hurt, there's been a relapse. That's what I think, and obviously that stops you playing on a regular basis and getting the fluidity. I like Loftus-Cheek a lot, man. So, and I think he'd give on a fit Loftus-Cheek. He gives us a lot, He gives England a lot. He gives us a lot more than a couple other players, if I'm honest with you, And I think Southgate likes him. So, yeah, man. Wenger shouldn't return. I don't think he'll have the best intentions for us, like Alex Ferguson for United. Fair play. Bro, Danny Mills, Jamie O'Hara, these lot, you're forgetting. Don't let these lot rattle. You don't even look at them because they're loyal to a paycheck, They're loyal to a paycheck. They chat shit because nobody is listening to them if they don't chat shit. Why do you think Jamie O'Hara is always coming out and capping? It doesn't matter talking about Arsenal, whatever. When you've got a couple of media friends, you sit there and you're told Jamie O'Hara is saying 30 minutes before he's gone on, I don't believe this, but I'm going to say this. And I've seen bare people do it. Do you know how much YouTubers don't believe the fucking things they're saying? But because it's engagement and the money, they don't care. There's bare man like that. I've seen it. Certain man will argue a point. The minute it comes off, they'll be agreeing with you. There's a lot of integrity. Them man ain't got integrity. The very thing talk sport or talk shite, and all these people get onto AFTV and all these things about. Not that I'm defending AFTV. It's not mine to defend. They do the same thing. It's an outlaw thing, outrage thing. Sorry, it's just moving mad, making man mad. That's all they do. And Arsenal fans haven't quite clocked yet, regardless of our team being up and down over the years. To put it nicely, we are gonna do the most on social media, because of YouTubers, because of the engagement levels. There used to be a time. Do you remember, like, they had to stop having public votes because anything Arsenal, me included, would all go vote it up and stuff. So they know we're gonna get frothed in the mouth and stuff and whatnot. Pause. It's like Katie Hopkins. She knows, and Piers Morgan. They know if they chat shit, people are replying. If people could just air them, then there's no engagement. Talk sport, talk shy, have a number of little idiots that they know to rise up, the idiots that are working from 9 to 5 and everything else, and all people that think like twats like them. That's their angle. No one's listening to Jamie Carragher, not Jamie Carragher, sorry, Jamie O'Hara. Normally, no one's listening to him. No one's listening. Not one damn person is listening to him. Danny Mills, bro, who? Big up Danny Mills, but I think I'm getting to the point. If me and you walk in a room, no one knows fucking Danny Mills. You probably know me a bit more. Fuck off, Danny Mills, man. Get the hell out of here, man. Don't let him go. He didn't even believe that. He probably didn't even believe Ramsdale was dead. Them man there are just getting a check. I can't, at the end of the day, you want to pay your bills. I respect it. I hear it. We all got bills to pay, but don't take what he's saying serious, man. The guy's a muck. Absolute muck. Biggest highlight getting twined by Henry. We know this. To be honest, I think Jamie O'Hara's got a lot more integrity than a couple of them, man. Jamie O'Hara is just, Jamie Redknapp is he just moves mad. Definitely not here. Jamie Redknapp is just whatever happened. He's just a moments, man. Like, if I play, if they're doing Sky Sports, whatever, and I score in that game, he starts gassing me then. And if I have next week, I have a bad game, he starts gassing me. Listen to how he talks about Pogba. Literally, according to that 90 minutes, determines what he's gonna say. He just a passion merchant, really and truly. Them man there just mad. Tim Sherwood rubbed, but it's the thing about this country, just rubbed. Man said, DG, I knew about you before I found out about Danny Mills. Bro, who is he? DG is the voice like Lil Durk. Come on, my guy, man. I appreciate that. And you know what? I listen, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. It's showbiz, innit? You got to do things. You got to make a show. But for me, I know I can't speak for anyone. I know once I have my shower, I cream myself, I brush my teeth, I turn off my lights, and I close my eyes to go to sleep. I know when I'm thinking about that day just before I fell asleep, I'm going to feel rubbed. Like, fair enough. If these lots say, oh, I feel rubbed as well, but they get in the bag, it's fair play. That Trevor Sinclair guy was calling Hudson-Odoi arrogant the other day for not going to the England under-21s. These lot are sellouts. To be fair with you, I can see why Callum Hudson-Odoi turning down that cap can rub people up the wrong way. But nobody said such when the same things. But remember when Eric Dyer first joined Spurs and he got England call up and he actually said no because I'm working on Spurs. I think Southgate's just in his feelings because how dare Callum Hudson-Odoi turn that down. But if Callum Hudson-Odoi shells it for Chelsea, you're not going to not call him up. I don't blame him. Bro, it's anger management, man. The man, they are tired, man. Don't. That's the one thing I like about social media. We don't have to listen to these guys or take them in just because they were ex-footballers or whatever. They might get into certain positions and be given a cheap leg up because they're in that well, but we don't have to take them in. They talk foolishness. We can air them. And the thing is, until everybody learns to not give these guys free, like, don't give them your energy. Like, even you getting vexed at them, I fall for it as well. Not necessarily that, but just air it, man. They're not worth. It's genuinely not worth it because who are these guys? But in the grand scheme of things, does that? I'm not saying my opinion. I don't think any opinion in life, man or woman, boy or girl, is any important or less important than someone else's, regardless of where they are in status, class, anything in life. But regardless of that, bro, Danny Mills, who cares? In the grand scheme of things, who is he? Who is he? He's nothing to do with Arsenal. Again, some less reputable footballers actually talk more sense than quality footballers, but it's not coming from anyone with anything really. Danny Mills has won a couple of cups in his career. His biggest highlight, man, say Thierry Henry. He's I'd be vexed. His kids probably went to school getting bantered about that. It's a myth, man. It's a myth. It's absolute myth. But yeah, man. Hey, Telemans is a baller, but as for Arsenal, that's a myth. They ain't that. Leicester got relegated in my football manager save. He might be available for the cheap. You never know. Hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you're following on Twitch. One love as well, people, to everyone who was on the Twitch live stream earlier. We're at 230 likes. Make sure you're running up them likes, people. It's always a fantastic one being here with you lot. But yeah, man, on that note, I think it's time to get some lunch though, man. So yeah, I'm going to love and leave you lot. This has been a fantastic live stream. What we've spoken about Danny Mills, bro. TM, when you find out, let me know. We've touched on Danny Mills, SMITH-ROWE, Arsene Wenger / Arteta and Wenger, South London slander, and there's 66 seconds. Where they got the extra 6 seconds, I don't know. And a couple other stuff, man. But yeah, it's been a fantastic one. Doing my bit to keep you lot sane and give you lot content during the international period. I know it's difficult. Make sure you're following on Twitch because we do play a lot of Football Manager content, and I do a lot of morning streams. I'll be back on FM on Twitch tomorrow. Probably upload a couple of videos on YouTube, and there's a couple of other stuff to come, man. So yeah, everybody, most importantly, stay safe, stay in good health, make sure you're all fed and hydrated and them things. And if it's Wednesday, you know, we've got 48 hours, put in a shift, move that much closer to your goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And yeah, man, we'll be having a good end to the week. So yeah, I appreciate everybody that's locked in. Stay safe, stay blessed. Hit the like button on your way out if you haven't. Comment any opinions, especially if you're watching this on the live chat, or you know, comment under the video if you're watching it on a playback. Appreciate you guys. You lot make this nation what it is. But for now, time to eat.
There's always just that active red line defenders. I think it's like